Hi, James. Great to have you here. Thanks a lot for taking a couple of minutes to join.
James, it's fantastic to be here. Delighted always to catch up and talk all things
Yeah,
e-commerce and just really excited to have this opportunity.
yeah, it's really nice to visit with you. You know, well, for those who haven't met you, be really helpful if you wouldn't mind giving a couple of words about Amplience and your role at Amplience and where you're focused.
Sure, absolutely. So Amplience is a leading headless content management system. It's very much focused on the e-commerce problem though. So we typically deal with big complex retail or brands that are selling direct to consumer and that are trying to create these really fabulous multi-channel, omni-channel e-commerce experiences.
Mhm.
I'm one of the founders along with my co-founder, Rory Dennis, and I'm the CEO. So, like yourself, it's always my problem, apparently.
Well, so the question that I wanted to ask, and you and I have talked about this in the past, and it's a common theme in the industry, is composed architectures, composable commerce, composable experiences. For some, that can be an intimidating proposition in that there's a lot of components to manage, and it's bringing organizations into new skills and disciplines, and there's a lot of companies deciding whether it's the right approach for them. From your point of view, how would you advise people think about that, and what should they be doing to make it easier on themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it is, I think, the question to answer at the moment in our world. I think a lot of the folks that we talk to are tremendously excited at the opportunity that Composable brings in terms of increased flexibility and agility, and just that ability to create a digital experience which is fundamentally differentiated.
Right.
And that's awesome. But as you say, the big problem is that there's a lot more perceived complexity in that there are more components that you might have to stitch together yourself. There might be new capabilities and skills that your IT team need to sort of get their heads around. That might be a bit more DevOps. It might be some very sophisticated ways in which you instantiate this infrastructure in the cloud. All of that good stuff is potentially quite hard to do. And I think, the other side of that is your business team are sitting there looking at this new solution, thinking, where are the tools that I need to do my job day to day? They seem to have been sort of moved from this nice big console that I used to use into these different components. And the reality is these are real problems to solve. The good news,
Mhm.
however, as you know, is that many of our system integrator partners have been working really hard on this problem, as have we jointly in terms of bringing together the solution components, pre-building some of this stuff, starting to think hard about the integration patterns and really taking away some of that complexity. So
Mhm.
my advice is find an SI that's really thought this through and really understands how to bring this together and work with vendors like us that care about this problem.
Yeah, well, that's great advice, and certainly it's something that we all recognize on the vendor side, that there is a shift in application ownership that composed architectures bring. Collectively between Amplience and Elastipath, we're both working with our system integrator partners on solving that problem and making it a
Absolutely.
lot easier for customers through things like we call pre-composed solutions.
Yeah.
Think of them as the assembled application. Then how does that get operated and run? So I think it's great advice that you offer, which is here are the areas that customers should think about in terms of what it means to operate. And then to know that there are others out there who have thought about that complexity and how best to solve it.
Absolutely. And I think, my final piece on this is don't be afraid. Take
Yeah,
that first step.
yeah, yeah. Great advice, James. As always, it's a wonderful opportunity to speak with you, and appreciate you coming on and sharing your point of view. And we're all looking forward to a very exciting time ahead of the market.
Absolutely. Thank you, James.